With many Spider-Man films now out, fans are discussing which is the greatest. Fortunately, we came up with a list that the majority of Peter Parker fans agreed on. Hello and welcome back everyone to Behind the Lens, your entertainment channel where you catch up with the latest releases and upcoming movies, series and more. Don't waste your time searching for fake news and release date. Join your favorite channel and stay updated with the world of films and programs. So let's get straight to it. Marvel's Spider-Man is by far the most famous hero, especially in the Marvel Universe. With SpiderMan No Way Home released, fans are now debating their personal ranks for Spider-Man movies. While everyone has a favorite actor to portray Peter Parker, whether it's Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or the most recent, Tom Holland, everyone has a favorite actor to play Spider-Man. After seeing everyone's ideal Spider-Man movie and reading everyone's opinions on why they selected that particular film, I came up with the conclusion on the list. Before we begin, note that this list will consider solo Spider-Man films. Crossover films such as Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Captain America Civil War and even spin-offs such as Venom will not be considered in the list. Also keep in mind there will be spoilers ahead. Let's have a look at our list of the 8 Spider-Man movies, classified from worst to best. On number 8, The Amazing Spiderman II with Andrew Garfield released back in 2014. The Amazing Spider-Man II was commonly considered as a major flop with terrible story and villains and boring romance. The movie spends so much time on emotional elements, developing relationships with Gwen, the Ant and Harry Osborn. This resulted to a viewer spending hours watching dialogues with hardly some actions. When a person plans on watching a superhero genre, especially Marvel's, we all expect a film to be surrounded with action and thrills. With The Amazing Spider-Man 2, there is almost none of that with almost only 2 battle scenes. This actually resulted viewers to literally yawn in the middle of the supposed final epic showdown. On number 7, Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire released back in 2007. The threequel is overstuffed, with moments like Peter Parker's notorious stride down the street and his not-so-funny jazz club dance that feel connected to the mask. It also features a clumsy and pointless story for Uncle Ben's murder. I mean, Marco actually pressed the trigger and killed Uncle Ben because he was surprised? Really? Couldn't think of a better twist to his death? The movie crammed 3 types of villains into one picture, leaving viewers with the impression that each one could stand alone. Despite the fact that Sandman is the central character, the film never offers him much to do other than mope about his sickly daughter Penny. On number 6, The Amazing Spider-Man's first Andrew Garfield movie released back in 2012. This film's action and design weren't particularly bad, but almost every viewer agreed that a Peter Parker skater boy was completely unneeded, particularly the 3-minute scenario in which Peter skated to a Coldplay song for no apparent reason. The film portrays the agility of Spider-Man, the battle scenes are really well made and the chemistry between Parker and Gwen stood out. In summary, the film wasn't horrible, especially when considering the backstory of his parents, who were never addressed in the first 3 Spider-Man films. Personally, I enjoy a hero's background, but to be honest, DC does a fantastic job with this. On number 5, Spider-Man, the first Tobey Maguire's portrayal of Peter Parker released back in 2002. This was a delightful surprise. When the film first came out, everyone was talking about it and enjoying it. The movie is well conceived, performed, and directed. It was quite similar to the comics. Willem Dafoe played Norman Osborn and the Green Goblin to perfection. He was responsible for 90% of his stunts. Maguire was the ideal fit for the role of the scientific buff and good-hearted young man. Let's not forget that this film has one of the most famous kisses in cinema history. On number 4, Spider-Man Far From Home, featuring Tom Holland as Peter Parker, released back in 2019. Every Avengers fan enjoyed this film as it takes root in the aftermath of Avengers Endgame. The plot was amusing and pleasant, with excellent pacing. The plot twists and turns were actually beneficial, since they created a more non-linear film. Holland was wonderful in his performance. The visual effects were just breathtaking. Everything seems so realistic that it's difficult to tell they're not real, particularly the damaged tower bridge and other structures. On number 3, Spider-Man Homecoming, released in 2017. Another thrilling installment in the Marvel world. The concept of Peter Parker attempting to strike a balance between his high school years and his desire to join the Avengers as Spider-Man set this film apart from both Maguire's and Garfield's adaptations. Homecoming had a lot of conflicting reviews, which is understandable given Tom Holland's competition, which includes 2 prior Spider-Man films produced in the last 15 years. While Garfield was a decent Spider-Man but a terrible Peter Parker, Maguire was a fantastic Peter Parker but a mediocre Spider-Man. Tom Holland is an excellent balance of both roles. On number 2, we have Tobey Maguire's second installment, SpiderMan II, released in 2004. Peter's attraction as a character stemmed from the fact that when he removed the mask, he wasn't a millionaire. He was a bad student and photographer who struggled to keep the lights turned on. We sympathize with Peter because we know and understand how tough it is to be both Spider-Man and a person. Sam Raimi understands how to do sequels right, and Spider-Man 2 is proof of that. We also have Alfred Molina's fantastic Doc Ock, who is possibly the most sympathetic comic book villain ever portrayed on cinema. From the bank battle to the train sequence, one of the finest action scenes in a comic book picture ever, the true reward was always the incredible action. And finally, on number 1, SpiderMan No Way Home, released in 2021. When it was released, the film nearly stole the spotlight from every other film released in the same month. Every review I've read about the film has been enthralling. Anyone who has seen this film has appreciated it immensely, especially the twists. Lots of people saw the movie twice in cinemas because they believed single viewing was insufficient. Finally, a Spider-Man trilogy has come to fruition. With a compelling plot, exhilarating action, funny moments, and tragic repercussions, Spider-Man No Way Home was an outstanding conclusion of the films that came before it. So that's it everyone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. To see more videos like this in the future, hit that subscribe button. Thanks a lot for watching, hope you enjoyed. Stay safe, stay tuned, and see you soon.